All right, in this video, we will be graphing a piecewise function shown right here. Now, when you look at a piecewise function, you should be seeing two different functions that are sort of being grouped together. So this top piece, imagine if we had y equals 2x. And for this bottom piece, imagine that we had y equals negative x plus 3. Now, if we really had two separate functions, we could just graph them separately. And so, for example, y equals 2x. Think about how you would graph that. We would start at the origin because the y-intercept is just 0. All right, and then the slope would be 2 over 1. So it would be up 2 over 1 like this. And we could graph it going in the other direction as well. And, we could draw this line. All right, if this was our only function, that's what it would look like. Now, on the other hand, if we had this other function, y equals negative x plus 3, we'd see the y-intercept of 3, that would be here, and then the slope is negative 1, so we could think negative 1 over 1. So that would be down 1, right 1, like this. All right, and we could put more dots going to the left, like this. And this is what that function would look like. Okay, but this is a piecewise function, which means that we don't get to keep all of these points. We don't get to keep the entire function. We're just going to keep part of the top function and part of the bottom function. Now, this is what tells us which part we're going to keep. It's the top function where the x values are greater than or equal to 1. So look at these x values. All right, these are the x values that are greater than or equal to 1. So for these x values, it's going to be the blue function. Okay, so that means this is the part of the blue function that we're going to keep. Everything else would have to go away. So this part of the blue function would be gone. And we would just have the part that goes from here to here. All right, because that's the part of the blue function where the x values are greater than or equal to 1. And then looking at the pink function, we keep the part of the pink function where the x values are less than 1. So again, looking at the x-axis, let's see, can I make this yellow go away? If I look at the x-axis, here's 1, and here's where the x values are less than 1. So this part of the pink function is where the x values are less than 1. So that's the part we're going to wind up keeping. So we're going to wind up not keeping this part over here. All right, so we would wind up just keeping this part. Okay, so this is what the final answer would look like. Now, so the question is there a way to come up with this graph without drawing the entire line first and then sort of trying to erase parts of it? Okay, is there a more efficient way to do it? And here's what I would recommend. Focus on the condition. Focus on this value right here. X is greater than or equal to 1, x is less than 1. What's happening at the point x equals 1? I think it would be helpful to make little tables of values. But let's start with this number right here, 1. Okay, let's start with an x value of 1. Now, for this function, the first function, we want x values that are greater than or equal to 1. So there we have 1, and then if we want values that are greater than, then we would do values like 2 and 3. All right, so if we plot these points, it will show us what's happening. So here we go. If we have 2x, then this would be 2, and this would be 4, and this would be 6. Let's plot those points. So 1 comma 2, 2 comma 4, and 3 comma 6. All right, and if we kept going, because we want values that are greater than 1, it would just keep following this pattern of, you see the slope is 2, so it's up 2 over 1. We could just put some more points on here. All right, so this is going to be going like this. Okay, notice this first point is going to be a closed circle because of the or equal to. Now, when I do the next one, all right, let's do the same thing. Again, I'm going to start with the number 1, but for this bottom function, negative x plus 3, we want values that are less than 1. So I'm still going to start with 1, but I'm going to make it an open circle because we can't actually use the value of 1 because we need values that are less than 1. But we still need this as a starting point. Just make it an open circle. But now let's go less than 1. So going less than 1, this would be 0, and then negative 1. So let's find these 3 points. Okay, so let's see. If x is 1, then that makes this negative 1 plus 3, which is 2. Okay. All right, what if x is 0? Then that makes this negative 0 plus 3, which is just 3. And what if x is negative 1? Then that makes this negative 1 plus 3. Well, that's just 1 plus 3, which is 4. So I've got these 3 points. So let's see. Remember, this first one is an open circle. But if I go to 1 comma 2, I notice there's already a point there. So if you put an open circle on top of a closed circle, it's still really just a closed circle. But just understand that as far as the pink function, this would have been an open circle. Don't do this, guys. Don't make an open circle and then put a closed circle kind of floating in the middle of it like that. It's really just a closed circle at this point. Okay, now back to the graph. 0 comma 3, that would be right here. And negative 1 comma 4 would be right here. And again, you can see the pattern. And you see the slope is negative 1, so you know it's going down 1 over 1. But going to the left, it's going to be like going up 1, left 1. All right, so that pattern would continue like this. So we have this graph like this. All right, and that's it. We have now graphed this piecewise function. All right, we're going to need more practice with that. But we'll take a look at it for the second well, I'm going to make a separate video for the next one. Let me just mention one thing. I was a little bit nervous there when I did the minus negative 1 and I turned that to a positive 1. I have a feeling that some of you would have made a mistake right then. Please understand that if you need to, you could put this into your TI-30 XS multi-view. So I could have done this. Okay, just getting ready over here. I could have put this into my calculator using the table feature. So I've got negative x plus 3. Okay, let's start at 1, like we said. Okay, and you know I want to do I want to do 1, 0, and -1. So if I were you, I would just do the ask feature, because then you can type in whatever you want. So I'm going to do 1, 0, and -1. And then that gives you your 2, 3, and 4 right there. So if you're having any trouble doing this by hand, the way I am, if you need to, use your calculator. All right, let's practice this again on the next video.